Hello everybody, my name is Mudassar Naikwadi. I'm working as assistant professor at Department of Electrical Engineering and B. Navle Singhad College of Engineering. This presentation is for the course Signals and Systems, which is for third year electrical engineering course for Punyashlok Ahilyabai Devi Holkar, Solapur University. Today I'm going to give an introduction to the topic of Z transform. So before directly going to Z transform, we will try to understand in this lecture what is meant by transform, what are the different types of transforms. Then we will go to the Z transform, what is the need of Z transform, and then we will try to understand what is the meaning of ROC, which is called as the region of convergence of Z transform. So what do we mean first by time domain and frequency domain? Now if we observe so many signals. Whenever we deal with signals in laboratory, we use a equipment called as CRO. On that CRO, we we see the signal in the time domain. That is, if you see here, we get the plot of the signals on the CRO. So the signals look like this. Okay. So this is called as a time domain representation because on the x-axis, if you see, it is time, and on the y-axis, it is amplitude. So when you see the signal in the time domain on a equipment called as a CRO, this is called as a time domain representation of a signal. Obviously, because here on the x-axis we are having time. But the same signal, if we try to observe in the frequency domain, that is our x-axis now will be frequency, x-axis now is frequency, and here is the signal amplitude, then whatever graphical presentation we get, that is called as the frequency domain. Now if you clearly look here, this how does this look like? This is like we are having a three-dimensional view like this is our time axis, this is our frequency axis, and this is the amplitude axis. So normally when we are seeing the signal in the time domain, we are seeing from here. Okay, so when you see the signal from here, the signal will appear like this. So as shown in the graph here, we can see the signal like this. So this is amplitude versus time. Okay, but now if you change your view, that if you change your perspective of looking at the same signal, the signal is not changing, the signal is remaining the same, but only your direction of viewing the signal is changing. So when you observe the signal from here, this signal which is looking like a sinusoidal representation here, it will appear in the form of a line if you look the signal from here, because all these cycles will overlap each other, and when you look the signal from here, you will get only a line, and these lines will be separated in frequencies. So this point is corresponding to one particular frequency, this is corresponding to another frequency, this is corresponding to another frequency, and whatever is the amplitude of these signals, whatever the oscillations are there, their amplitudes are there, these are amplitudes are determined by these signal values. So in this way we can observe the signals in the frequency domain. So why do we need to observe the signals in the frequency domain? Because looking at the signal just in the time domain, we will not be able to find out the constituents of those signals, because a signal may be made up of so many different signals coming together. Like a signal may be an addition of two or three signals, but when you see a complex waveform, you just see a signal, so you cannot differentiate between its constituent components, you cannot identify the different signals which added together became the composite signal. But if you see that signal in the frequency domain, you will be able to locate the individual components, like you will be able to come to know that that signal is made up of two or three signal components. So there is a one signal component of some say 50 hertz, another signal component is of say 100 hertz, another signal component is of 200 hertz, and you can also understand how much proportion, that is what is the magnitudes of those components which are added together to form that original signal. So that's why frequency domain representation is also very important, and these two representations, time domain representation and frequency domain representations, are widely used for signal analysis in signals and systems. So this is about the time and the frequency domain. And what is the equipment that allows you to view the signals in the frequency domain? That equipment is called as a spectrum analyzer. Okay, so the spectrum analyzer is a equipment which you will find in laboratories, which allows us to view the signals in the frequency domain. Just like CRO allows us to view the signals in the time domain, spectrum analyzer allows us to view the signal in the frequency domain. Now, what are the different types of transforms? Now, if you generally see, we are having the different types of signals. So we can generally have four different types of signals. So how do we classify the signals? In the first case, the basic classification is that we can have CT signals, okay, which is called as the continuous time signals, and we can have discrete TT signals. We call it as a discrete time signals. Okay. So now this CT signals we can divide it as aperiodic signals, and we can have CT periodic signals. So there can be periodic CT signals, aperiodic CT signals. Periodic CT signals means, which we have already seen in the first unit, signals which repeat itself are called as a periodic signal. If you draw a sinusoidal signal which tends signals extends up to infinity, then you can see that the sinusoidal signal is repeating itself after a fixed amount of time. So this is a periodic signal. What is meant by aperiodic signal? Aperiodic signal is a signal which does not repeat itself. So if you are having a waveform like this, if it is just a square waveform like this, and the signal is not repeating anywhere, okay, so this is the aperiodic signal. But if you have a signal like this, okay, so this is the square waveform, then again you are having a square pulse, then again you are having a square pulse. In this way the square pulse continues up to infinity. Then you can see that this is a periodic signal, because this part of the wave which is there, it is constantly repeating after a fixed interval of time. So this is called as a time period. So after a fixed amount of time t, this amount of signal is continuously repeating itself. So this is a periodic signal. So continuous time periodic signals we have, continuous time aperiodic signals we have. So similarly in DT also we have continuous time periodic signals, we have continuous time aperiodic signals. So just like case with CT, we can have discrete time signals. So discrete time signals will have pulses. Okay, so we know what is the representation of discrete time signals. So in discrete times also we can have so many, we have also the classification as periodic and aperiodic. So now if you see here, what are the different types of transform? So dealing with these different four types of signals, we can have different four types of transforms. Okay, so when the signal is a periodic signal, okay, when the signal is a periodic signal, then what the type of transform that we use for such periodic signal is called as a Fourier series. Okay, so depending upon whether this signal is a continuous time or a discrete time, okay, we are having what we call as a continuous time Fourier series and a discrete time Fourier series. So this is the Fourier series. So these two transforms are basically for the Fourier series. Okay, so we have the continuous time Fourier series and we have the continuous time discrete time Fourier series. So continuous time Fourier series, discrete time Fourier series. But if the signal is aperiodic, this was for periodic. Okay, if the signal is aperiodic, just now we saw what is meant by aperiodic signal. So the signal which is not repeating itself. So when such signals are to be transformed, then we use a transform called as a continuous time Fourier transform. We use a transform called as a continuous time Fourier transform. And when our aperiodic signal is discrete time, okay, when the periodic signal is discrete time, then we use a transform called as a discrete time Fourier transform. We use a transform called as a discrete time Fourier transform. So normally there are four transforms. So first is continuous time Fourier series. So this continuous time Fourier series is used for continuous time periodic signals. So whenever the signals are periodic, we go for Fourier series. We call it as a continuous time Fourier series, which is for continuous time periodic signals. But when we have a discrete time signal which is periodic, okay, the important thing is periodic. So when we have a discrete time signal which is periodic, we go for a transform called as a discrete time Fourier series. Okay, we go for a transform called as discrete time Fourier series. When the signal is aperiodic, when the signal is aperiodic and it is continuous time, we go for a transform called as a continuous time Fourier transform. And when the signal is discrete time, Okay, when the signal is